On a quiet Sunday evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the streets began to empty, a political earthquake struck America, shaking the very foundations of its democracy. President Joe Biden, in a move that stunned both allies and adversaries alike, announced a pardon for his son, Hunter Biden. The pardon came just weeks before the end of Biden's presidency and the start of Donald Trump's second term, adding a dramatic twist to an already tumultuous political landscape. This decision sent shockwaves through the nation and ignited a firestorm of controversy, with citizens and politicians alike taking to the streets and social media to voice their opinions. Hunter Biden had been facing charges related to illegal firearm possession and tax evasion, charges that had been the subject of intense media scrutiny and public debate for months. The pardon immediately raised questions about potential conflicts of interest and the politicization of justice in America. Legal experts and political analysts flooded the airwaves, dissecting the implications of Biden's decision. The timing of the pardon only fueled the flames of suspicion, coming at a moment when the nation was already deeply divided and on edge. With the transition of power looming, many saw this as a last-minute attempt by Biden to shield his son from potential prosecution under a Trump administration. The optics of the situation were undeniable and the public's reaction was swift and polarized. Critics argued that the pardon undermined the principles of justice and accountability, suggesting that it set a dangerous precedent for future administrations. Supporters, however, defended the president's decision, citing the immense pressure and scrutiny Hunter Biden had faced due to his father's political career. They argued that the pardon was a necessary act of compassion and fairness, given the extraordinary circumstances. As the nation grappled with the fallout, the debate over the pardon continued to rage, reflecting the deep divisions and complex emotions that define modern American politics. Hunter Biden's legal woes had been making headlines for months, casting a shadow over his father's presidency. The charges stemmed from Hunter's admitted struggle with drug addiction and his business dealings. In 2024, Hunter was convicted on charges of lying on federal paperwork to purchase a handgun while he was actively using illegal drugs. This conviction carried a potential prison sentence. In addition to the firearm charges, Hunter Biden faced serious tax-related offenses. Prosecutors alleged that Hunter had failed to pay taxes on over $1 million in income. These charges stemmed from what authorities described as lavish spending on personal expenses and a failure to accurately report his income. Hunter eventually pleaded guilty to 9 tax offenses, acknowledging his wrongdoing. In a deeply personal and emotional statement, President Biden defended his decision to pardon his son, Hunter Biden. The president's voice wavered as he spoke, revealing the depth of his emotional turmoil. The president acknowledged the seriousness of Hunter's offenses, but framed them in the context of his son's well-documented struggles with addiction. He emphasized that Hunter's journey had been a long and arduous one, filled with numerous setbacks and moments of despair. Biden spoke of the pain and anguish his family had endured as Hunter battled his demons. He recounted sleepless nights and the constant worry that had plagued their lives, painting a vivid picture of a family in crisis. He argued that Hunter, like many Americans struggling with addiction, deserved a chance at redemption. Biden highlighted the importance of compassion and understanding in dealing with addiction, stressing that it was a disease that required support and empathy. President Biden also suggested that his son had been unfairly targeted by political opponents seeking to exploit his personal struggles for political gain. He pointed out the relentless media scrutiny and the political attacks that had exacerbated Hunter's challenges. He claimed that the intense scrutiny and legal battles had taken a devastating toll on Hunter's mental health and well-being. The president described the emotional and psychological strain that had been inflicted upon his son, making it clear that the situation was dire. The president argued that the pardon was an act of compassion and a necessary step to allow his family to heal and move forward. He expressed hope that this decision would enable Hunter to rebuild his life and that it would bring some measure of peace to their family. The pardon ignited a political firestorm, deepening the already existing partisan divide in America. Republicans were swift and fierce in their condemnation, accusing President Biden of blatant cronyism and abuse of power. They argued that the pardon undermined the rule of law and sent a dangerous message, that there is one set of rules for the powerful and another for everyone else. Democrats, while more measured in their response, found themselves in the difficult position of defending a decision that many found ethically questionable. Some argued that the president had the right to issue pardons as he saw fit, emphasizing the separation of powers between the executive and judicial branches. Others focused on the personal toll of Hunter's struggles, emphasizing the need for compassion and understanding. Former President Donald Trump, never one to shy away from controversy, seized on the pardon as evidence of what he called the two-tiered justice system. Trump, who had faced his own share of legal troubles and had issued numerous pardons during his presidency, accused the Biden administration of hypocrisy. He argued that the pardon exposed the double standard in how the law is applied to Democrats and Republicans. Trump's supporters echoed his sentiments, pointing to the pardon as proof of a corrupt establishment protecting its own. They argued that the Biden administration, which had campaigned on restoring trust in government, had betrayed the public's trust. The pardon, they claimed, was a blatant attempt to shield Hunter Biden from accountability for his actions. Section 6. Erosion of trust in the justice system. Beyond the immediate political fallout, the pardon raised broader concerns about the erosion of trust in the American justice system. Critics argued that the decision further fueled the perception that the wealthy and well-connected operate under a different set of rules. They warned that such actions could lead to a loss of faith in the impartiality and fairness of the legal system. Legal experts debated the long-term implications of the pardon, with some suggesting that it could set a dangerous precedent for future presidents. They argued that the pardon, if seen as politically motivated, could weaken the public's confidence in the independence of the Justice Department and its ability to hold even the most powerful accountable. Section 7. A nation divided. In the aftermath of the pardon, the nation found itself more divided than ever. Public opinion polls reflected the deep partisan split, with Republicans overwhelmingly condemning the pardon and Democrats expressing more mixed views. The issue dominated news cycles and social media, further polarizing an already fractured public discourse. The pardon also had implications for the upcoming presidential election. Trump and his supporters vowed to make it a central campaign issue, using it to rally their base and paint the Democrats as corrupt and out of touch. Democrats, on the other hand, sought to shift the focus back to Trump's own legal troubles and his controversial use of pardons during his first term. Section 8. The long shadow of doubt. Despite the Biden administration's attempts to move on, the shadow of the pardon continued to linger. Questions remained about the nature of Hunter Biden's business dealings, and whether he had received preferential treatment due to his family connections. The controversy also fueled conspiracy theories and misinformation, further eroding trust in government and the media. The long-term consequences of the pardon on American politics and society remained uncertain. However, one thing was clear: the pardon had shaken the public's faith in the fairness and impartiality of the justice system. It had also deepened the partisan divide, making it even more difficult to find common ground on critical issues facing the nation. Section 9. Conclusion: a legacy tarnished. President Biden's decision to pardon his son Hunter will undoubtedly be a defining moment of his presidency. This unprecedented move has sparked intense debate across the nation, with opinions sharply divided along political and ideological lines. While supporters argued that it was an act of compassion and a necessary step to protect his family, they also emphasized the human aspect of the decision. They believe that Biden's actions reflect a deep sense of familial duty and love, qualities that resonate with many Americans who value family above all else. On the other hand, critics condemned it as a blatant abuse of power and a betrayal of the public trust. They argue that the pardon sets a dangerous precedent, suggesting that those in power can manipulate the justice system to serve personal interests, thereby undermining the very foundation of democracy. The pardon ignited a political firestorm, further dividing an already polarized nation. The media frenzy that followed only added fuel to the fire, with pundits and analysts dissecting every aspect of the decision and its potential ramifications. The pardon's legacy will likely be debated for years to come. Scholars, historians, and political analysts will continue to examine the motivations behind the pardon and its impact on the American political landscape. It raised fundamental questions about the role of family in politics, challenging the notion of where personal loyalty ends and public duty begins. the intertwining of personal and political lives has always been a contentious issue, and this pardon brings it to the forefront. The boundaries of presidential power, and how far a president can go in using their authority to influence legal outcomes. This incident has prompted calls for clearer guidelines and limitations on presidential pardons, and the delicate balance between justice and mercy. The debate over whether justice was served or compromised in this case will continue to be a point of contention among legal experts and the general public alike. Whether the pardon will ultimately tarnish Biden's legacy or be seen as a footnote in his presidency remains to be seen. The long-term effects of this decision will unfold over time, influencing how future generations perceive his leadership and moral compass. However, one thing is certain: the pardon will forever be a reminder of the complex and often uncomfortable intersection of family, politics, and justice in America. It serves as a poignant example of the challenges faced by those in power when personal and public responsibilities collide.